So students, in this lecture we will know how to style our images. Okay, suppose we have different images, so we can style it in many different ways. Okay, suppose we'll create an empty page. Okay, suppose we'll get the syntax and today we'll give our title as CSS images. Okay, suppose we'll like insert any image. Okay, so we will give image and then src, then the path of that image, suppose image, and we'll take suppose book1.jpg. Okay, suppose we are taking this image. Now suppose we want to make this image round. Okay, suppose we want to make its corner round. Okay, so what we can do, we can apply a border radius property. Okay, we'll apply it on our div. Okay, so we'll apply a border radius property. Okay, suppose we can give like 8 pixel. Suppose we'll give 8 pixel. Now we'll save it and we'll go to our page 20.html and we'll refresh it. Okay, then we here will here we'll give our image. Okay, we'll give our image a border radius of 8 pixel. Okay, now we'll refresh it. See, now our border has rounded, our image has rounded borders. Okay, see, when we increase the border radius, suppose we'll give a 20 pixel radius. Okay, so more rounded borders are now present on our image. Okay, suppose we can also write it in our percentage. Suppose we'll write 20%, 20%. Okay, then we will refresh it. See, now our image is like partially rounded. Okay, suppose we want to make our image like half, will give a 50% border radius. Okay, now you can see the difference. See, now it is oval shaped. Okay, so you can like design your image by using the border radius property. Okay, so you can give these values in pixels or in percentage sign. Okay, now we want to we want to add an opacity to this image. Okay, so we will use an opacity property. Suppose we'll use 0.4. Okay, opacity means transparency of the image. Okay, now we'll refresh it. See, now our image is transparent. Okay, suppose we'll give 0.8. Okay, now its transparency will increase. Okay, suppose we'll give here 0.2 opacity, and when we hover onto that image, suppose we'll place a hover pseudo selector. Okay, here we are hovering. When we are hovering to that image, the opacity should change it to 1. Okay, initial opacity, initial transparency of the image is 0.2, but when we hover to that image, means when we point the cursor to that image, its transparency should change into 1. Okay, means its default transparency. See, this is the default transparency opacity, that is 0.2. When we hover onto that image, it changes to like its initial state. Okay, 1. The opacity changes to 1. Okay, so you can suppose we'll we want to here this our image is starting from left. Okay, suppose we want to align it to center. Okay, so what we can do, okay, suppose here we have to apply, suppose we'll comment these out and we will give an opacity of 1 or 0.8. Okay, suppose we have given this. Okay, now you will see the difference. See, our opacity is now 0.8. Suppose we want to center the image. Okay, so for that we have to give the we have to use the text align property. Okay, uh, suppose you will not use text align property here. We will give the margin left and margin right to our image. Okay, suppose when we give a margin left and here we'll give auto. Okay, means it will adjust itself. Okay, and then we'll give a margin right and here we'll also give auto. Okay, suppose when we give this, okay, the margin will adjust itself, the left margin and the right margin will adjust itself. Suppose when we save this, suppose when we are saving this, see there is no difference. Why? Because this image is a inline element. Okay, these images are inline element. We have to change it to block element in order to come in order to put these effects. Okay, we'll change the display into block. That means our image will now turn into a block level element. Okay, now we'll save it and refresh it. See, now our image is centered, means this margin left and this margin right, we have given the auto value. Okay, so it adjusts the margin. Okay, our both margin and margin right, margin left and margin right is equal here. Okay, so when we will give the margin left and margin right property, always keep in mind that image should be displayed as a block. If you will not give this property, image these two properties will not work. Okay, it only works on our block level elements. Okay, suppose here we have given the opacity and the margin left and margin right. Suppose we want to make our image responsive. Okay, suppose here when we give a width of suppose 800 pixel. Okay, here we'll give a width of 800 pixel. Okay, then when we resize it, suppose we will not get any responsive bar. Okay, here will not give, here will not be present, any scroll bar will not be present. Okay, suppose see now our scroll bar is present. Okay, so that means here we have given our width to 800 pixel, so the image will take the 800 pixel width even if the image, even if the screen size will be small. Okay, the image will take the 800 pixel. Okay, so this scroll bar here is present. Okay, in order to remove this scroll bar and the image to be adjusted in that particular screen, we have to use a maximum width property. Okay, maximum width means here the maximum width will be 800 pixel. Here we'll give, instead of 800 pixel, we'll give 100% width of the screen. Okay, means the image size will be adjusted to 100% width. Okay, whatever the screen size will be. Okay, suppose we'll save it and we'll refresh it. Okay, now it is greater than, suppose when we increase the size. Okay, You can see no scroll bar is coming because it is adjusting itself. The image is adjusting itself according to the screen size. Means the maximum width is 100%. Okay, and it adjusts itself when the screen size reduces. See, you can make your website or your image responsive by using this maximum width property. Okay, sometimes it is helpful, sometimes it is not. Okay, so you can like place according to your requirements. Okay, so here you can see this image is adjusted according to the screen size. Means any screen size will be present, then it will take the 100% width of the screen. Okay, suppose we'll close this. You can see now it is 100%. This is the 100% width of the image. Okay, now we will see like we want to like insert a text in this particular image. Okay, we have studied earlier, we'll once again revise it. Okay, suppose here we will comment these out. Okay, suppose here we'll add a div. Here we'll give a container class to that, to this div. Okay, I will put this image in this container class. Okay, now we'll make one more div. In this div we will enter our text. Okay, suppose container text. Okay, suppose we want to, suppose we'll save it and refresh it. Okay, suppose we'll save it and refresh it. See, now our image is present at the top and our container text is present at the bottom of the image. Suppose we want to position this image in the position this container text in this image. Okay, so how can we do it? So first we have to make this image our relative position. Okay, now the default is the default is this browser window is our relative position, so it is placed according to this browser window screen. Okay, now we have to adjust like this container text in this image, so we have to make this image our relative position. Okay, so we will here make we'll give a container class and we will give a position as relative. Okay, now we want to insert these container text in this container. Okay, means this image. Okay, so we have to give our absolute position to this text. Okay, so we'll target it as container text, then we can give our position as absolute. Okay, okay, now when we are giving the absolute position, suppose we'll save it. Okay, suppose we'll save it and we'll see. Okay, see, no change is there because we have to give our positioning. Okay, where we want to position our text inside this image. Okay, so we'll position our text first. Suppose we want to insert this text at from top 20 pixel and from left 40 pixel. Okay, So suppose we want to position our text inside the image in this position. Okay, suppose we'll save it. See, now our container text is present inside this image. Okay, at the top of 20 pixel and the left of 40 pixel. Okay, now we have discussed about how to place our text inside this image. Now we'll practice how to send bring this text down here. Okay, suppose when we visit an e-commerce site, you will see here is the image of the product and a description or the price is given at the bottom of that image. Okay, so we'll design that layout. Okay, so suppose here we'll give we'll comment these styling properties. Okay, and suppose now I haven't saved it. Save it, and now we will refresh the page. Now our text is present at the bottom of that image. Suppose we'll design this. Okay, we'll design this. Suppose here we will align it to center. We'll align the image to center. Okay, suppose we'll align the image to center. Okay, now you can see our text here is at the center. Okay, now we will add a padding. Okay, and a padding top of 20 pixels. Suppose add a padding top of 60 pixel. Okay, so now suppose we'll make it bigger. Okay, suppose we'll add a font size of suppose large. No, it will not take. Suppose we'll manually write it. Suppose we'll give a font size of 30 pixel. It is not taking. Okay, because we haven't given any p here. We have to give a div. Sorry, my mistake. Okay, so we have to give the div. Okay, so we have given font size of 30 pixel to our container text. Now suppose we can also to make it more creative, we can also give a box shadow. Okay, suppose we'll give a box shadow here. Suppose 0, 8 pixel, 16 pixel, and 0, and a color of gray. Suppose. Okay. Suppose we'll refresh it. Now you can see our we'll also give a padding bottom. Okay. We'll also suppose we'll give a padding bottom. Okay. 0, 20 pixel, 0. Okay, so we are writing a top padding as here we'll give a padding. Okay, padding property. We are giving top padding as 20 pixel, then right padding 0. We're giving a bottom padding of 20 pixel, then left padding as 0. Okay, so we'll refresh the page. So we have added a box shadow in here. Okay, so this type of layout you can see, okay, you can make this type of layout. Okay, so it is looking much nicer than the previous layout. Okay, so you can make like this. Okay, you can design like this also. Okay, you can also add a filter property to our image. Like suppose here we'll add our filter property. Suppose here we'll add a filter property. Suppose here we'll give a brightness, and suppose we'll give a percentage of 200%. Okay, suppose we'll give a brightness of 200%. Here we'll ignore this. Here we'll replace this with this. Okay, sorry, it is a property. Okay, so we'll start with a colon. Okay, suppose we are giving a brightness of 200% to our image. Okay, now see the difference. Okay, see this, some there are some of our filter properties. Okay, filter values. Here we have added a brightness. Suppose I will give another filter. Okay, suppose I will give a grayscale. Okay, then we will refresh it. See, now it is in black and white mode. Okay, so there are various filter methods are there. Suppose we can also give a blur. Okay, see, here we can also give a blur. Suppose we blur the image. Okay, so you can see now we can also blur our image. Okay, so there are various filter methods are present. Okay, you can go to like reference, go to W3 schools and search for all these filters. Okay, you will get it. Suppose like I will show you. Okay, suppose I'll go to W3 schools, I'll go to CSS, and we will go to like our we'll go to our style images. Okay, go to our style images. See, now here we can see various filter methods are there. You can go to CSS filter. Okay, here you can see various filter functions are there. Okay, grayscale, hue, rotate, invert, opacity, sepia. Okay, there are various functions are there, filter functions are there. Okay, also see the browser support. Okay, it is supporting from 13 version onwards. It is on Internet Explorer. Okay, it is supporting from 53.0. Okay, if you are using like 24 version Chrome. Okay, so you have to use this code, this syntax, like you have to use like this. You are using like when you use like in like you have 25 version or 18 version onwards and less than 53 version. Okay, if you have that Chrome version, you can use the WebKit type. Okay, suppose can I'll show you. Suppose I have a like 53 version onwards Chrome version. Okay, if you have less than 53 version, you can use this syntax. You can use WebKit beside the filter property. Okay, then it will work. Okay, now there is no use of using that WebKit. Okay, this is the browser support. Okay, in Safari or Opera Mini. Okay, you have to keep in mind the browser support. Okay, so here you can get all the filter functions. So okay, Now we'll learn how to like add an overlay to our image. Means suppose like we'll go to our CSS where we'll go to our style images. Okay, suppose this overlay. See, so we'll learn these how to create these overlays. Okay, so let's start. Okay, for that we'll create another page. Okay, so you can understand clearly. Page 21. Okay. So now we'll give title of image overlay. Okay, now in body we will like make a container class. Okay, inside this we'll add our image, add our one.jpg. Okay, inside this we'll make another class. Okay, we'll make another class, and inside this we'll add another class. Okay, suppose we'll write anything inside this too. Okay, now our HTML code is ready. Okay, suppose we'll visit to our page 21.html. Okay, so this is our layout. Okay, we have to make it like this. Okay, so what we'll do is style our image and our text. Okay, so we will give an inline styling, sorry, internal styling. Then we will target our container. Okay, so in order to like when we want this text to insert in this image, we give this image as a relative position. Okay, and this text as a absolute position. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll give a relative position. Give a relative position. Then we will go on to this overlay. Overlay means like overlay means these. This when we are hovering onto this element, this blue color that is coming, that is overlay. Okay, so we'll design our overlay. Okay, so our will give a background color to our overlay, like any color you can give. Suppose I will give any color. Suppose I will give a caddet blue. Okay, so I will give a caddet blue color. Then we also have to position this absolute. Okay, then only it will be placed relative to this position. Okay, otherwise the background color will apply to our whole window. Okay, now when we are placing positioning absolute position, we have to give a position. Okay, so we want our overlay to hide our whole image. Okay, so we will start with our top, means we'll hide our whole image. So we want to give cover all our image. So we'll give top 0, left 0, right 0, and a bottom 0, so that we can cover all our image with that overlay. Okay, so we are giving this overlay. Okay, suppose we want by default in this styling by default this overlay is not present. Okay, when we are hovering onto this image, then overlay is coming and text is also coming. Okay, so by default the opacity should be 0. Okay, then only it will not appear. Okay, and when we'll hover onto this image, then only the overlay opacity should increase to 1, then only it should be visible. Okay, so we'll apply a hover property on our image, and then we want our overlay property to we want our overlay class to change its opacity to 1 when we hover onto that image. Okay, now we'll design our text class. Okay, suppose here we'll give our text class, suppose we'll set a font size. These are optional things. Okay, you can do it or not. Okay, suppose we want to place it in center. Okay, suppose we'll give our left as 50%, from left it should be 50%, and from top it should be 50%. Okay, and its position should also be absolute. Okay, because it is the text will be placed under our image. Okay, so the position should be absolute. Now suppose we'll save it and see how our layout is looking. Okay, here you can't see your image text. Okay, so we have to apply more. Suppose we'll apply width to our, suppose we'll apply a 60% width, and we'll apply our, we haven't designed our image. Okay, so we'll apply, design our image. Okay, so we'll give a width of 100% to our image, and we'll give a height as auto. Okay, in maximum cases keep your height auto. Okay, so we are giving this width as 100%, so we have to also give overlay width as 100% and height as, we'll give a height of auto. Suppose, okay, so I've given these things. Okay, let's see our layout. Okay, like nothing appears here. What is the problem? Okay, so where is our text? Okay, so we'll inspect it. Here we are getting some error. Okay, here we have placed a semicolon. Here somewhere we have placed a semicolon. Okay, save it. Now we'll go to our container, go onto our container, then image, then we have an overlay tag, then we have a text. Okay, here we have a text. Okay, here the opacity is 0. See, now our text is visible. Okay, so we have given our opacity as 0. Okay, but we have given a hover onto this image. Okay, so it should work. It is not working because we have to give hover on, we have to apply hover onto our container. not onto our image. Okay, suppose like this. Okay, now we'll refresh it and see. Now our text is appearing. Suppose for testing, we'll uh, give opacity as 1. Okay, now we want to center the text. Okay, but we have centered the text here by left as 50% and top as 50%, so it should be centered, but here it is not centered. It is centered, but like here you can see, suppose when I will go on to our text. Okay, when we'll refresh it, when we'll, okay, suppose we'll reduce the left here, left percentage. Suppose I will give a 20%, 30%, sorry, 30%, then 40%, then 50%. So it is not coming on to the center. Okay, suppose we'll give top 40% and left of 40%. It is somewhere like in middle. Okay, so we have to apply one more property by giving the left and top positioning as 50%. We'll apply one more property here. Okay, we'll apply a transform translate property. Okay, that we have discussed about. Okay, we'll give a translate of minus 50% and minus 50%. Okay, this is for width and this is for height. Okay, now when we will save it, see, now our text is in center. Okay, so you have to use this left and top property also, and you have to use this transform property also. Okay, then only it will come to center. Okay, suppose when we'll remove this, suppose here we'll go on to our overlay, will uncheck the opacity, and then here we'll check, see, a little difference is there. Okay, so it adjusts all the differences and bring the text to center. Okay, now I will refresh the page. So I am hovering onto this image, a blue color is coming, but when you will notice the difference between these two, see, here you can notice something. Here we haven't added any transition to our image. Okay, so we will add a transition to our image. Okay, so in overlay we will add a transition. Okay, so we'll add a transition, so we'll add a duration, like when it will last. Okay, suppose we'll add a 1 second, and then we'll use, suppose we'll use keys in out, keys in out. Okay, timing function. Okay, so we are providing a transition in our overlay. Suppose we'll refresh it, and now here you can see now a transition is present. Okay, but notice one thing, when we are hovering onto this element, our overlay gets bigger than the original size of the image. Okay, so you can see the difference here. Okay, our image size is shorter, but our image, yeah, overlay size is greater than the image. So in order to adjust that, you have to give our image as display block. Okay, you have to convert our image as block level element. Okay, suppose we have changed our image to block level element. Now when we'll refresh it, Now you can see the difference. Both the sizes are same. Okay. So when you are adding these properties to it, like overlay property to any image, okay, also keep in mind that you should always change your image to block level element. By default our image tag is inline level element. Okay, now we have created one overlay. Okay, suppose one style of overlay. Okay, like this one. Okay, now we will create like this. Okay, here you can see when we are hovering onto this image, the background color changes to yellow, but in this case its opacity decreases and the text opacity increases. Okay, so what we have to do, on hovering the default opacity is 1. Okay, when we hover onto this image, its opacity should reduce to 0.2 or 0.4, and its opacity, the text opacity, should increase. Okay, so here first we'll like remove the background image, and here we'll what we'll do, will by default set the opacity to 1. Okay, upon hovering, like when we hover onto our image or container, okay, when we hover onto our container, the image opacity should decrease. Okay, it should reduce to 0.2. Okay, here we'll remove the dot because it image is the tag. Okay, so when we hover onto our container, image opacity should reduce 0.2. Okay, and the default image opacity is 1, and the overlay opacity here will remove it, suppose, and we'll go to our text. Here we will add a opacity of 0 by default. Okay, and when we hover onto this container, we'll also comment these out. We'll also change the opacity of our text. Okay, suppose we'll try this code. Okay, so now when we'll refresh it, and no any styling is some like here what we have done, we'll remove this, suppose. Okay, so our opacity decreases to 0.2. Okay, now what we'll do, copy this code, and I will give the text, and I will change the opacity to 1. Okay, and we will refresh it. See, when we are hovering onto this image, the opacity reduces to 0.2 and the text opacity changes to 1. Okay, by default the opacity of the image is 1 and the opacity of the text is 0. On hovering, the opacity of the image changes to 0.2 and the opacity of the text is changes to 1. Okay, here uh, it is designed differently. Okay, here a button is the type styling is there, you can also do that. Main motive was that to like when we hover onto this image, the opacity should decrease and the text opacity should increase. Okay, now we will create this overlay. Okay, see, it is going down. Okay, like when we are hovering onto this image, the overlay is like it covers the height is like covering the whole image. Okay, its height is now 100%. Okay, first initially the height is 0, and then when we are hovering onto this, the height changes to 100%. Okay, so we can will go to our code. Okay, here first we have to give a background color. Okay, suppose we have to give a background color of overlay. We'll take the same background color as caddet blue. Okay, then we have to what we have to do, we want to here we have text, so we want to here our we want suppose this overlay should like okay, now will this it will by default the bottom will be 100%. Okay, because see, like it is covering the left part and it is covering the right part. Okay, suppose we will remove now the top, we will remove the top portion. Okay, now when we are hovering onto this element, the height changes to 100%, and from bottom, see like this. Okay, here the bottom will change to like here we have given the bottom to 100% when we will hover from bottom. Okay, it will cover the whole area, means it will come to 0 pixel bottom. Okay, bottom will be 0 pixel. Okay, when we'll hover onto this, by default height will be 0. Okay, height will be 0, and then we'll suppose we'll comment these out. Comment out here will not give the opacity. Instead of opacity, we will change the height to 100%. Okay, and we will like give the bottom spacing a 0 pixel. Okay, okay, suppose we will do this styling. Okay, suppose we have given our bottom as 100% and height as 0 by default. Okay, suppose we will not, suppose we will comment this out for now just for showing you. Okay, suppose we will refresh it. Okay, so when we will hover this element, you can now we'll refresh it. See, our overlay is working properly because by default, see, by default it is like this overlay is from here. Okay, from bottom it is covering like it is 100% up. Okay, means it is at the top position. Okay, and height is 0. Okay, so we have to like give the overlay from top to bottom. Okay, so when we hover onto that, we want our height to become 100% and it covers the whole image. Okay, so we have given the bottom spacing a 0 pixel. Okay, but here we have given our text, but it is not visible. Why? We have to give one more property here. Okay, add one more property here. Okay, suppose here like our text is hidden or something. Okay, like we have to give our overflow property. Okay, our overlay, suppose give a overflow of hidden. Okay, refresh it. It is not coming. The text is not coming. So let's inspect it. Okay, suppose we'll inspect on our text. Okay, our text is there. Okay, we'll check the styling property. Okay, here we have given the opacity to 0. Okay, now our okay, so we have given opacity 0 to our text. Okay, now we'll remove that opacity thing. Okay, now we'll refresh it. Now when we hover onto this our image, see, now our overlay is working properly. Okay, so we have learned three different types of overlay. How can overlay work on an image? Okay, so now we'll discuss. There are more. Okay, see here it is from bottom, it is in left, it is in right. Okay, so these four are kind of similar. Okay, like just have to change our styling from here. Okay, so now we will design this overlay. Okay, this in this overlay you can see the overlay starting from bottom. Initially its bottom position is at 0 pixel. Okay, so here what we'll do, we'll give our bottom spacing as 0. Okay, so here we'll give a bottom spacing as 0, and here you can see when we hover onto this element its height changes to 100%. Okay, so there is no change on the bottom. Okay, bottom is 0 only. Okay, it only covers the whole element, that is it changes the height to 100%. So here from here we'll remove this bottom styling, we'll save it, we'll go to our image. See, now it is starting from bottom. Okay, in the previous case it was starting from top. Okay, now it is starting from bottom. Okay, now here you can see it is starting from left. Okay, so here you can guess, see, our left value should be 0. Okay, so now let's do this overlay. So what points we have to keep in mind, like here when we are hovering onto this image, see, our initial width is 0. Okay, but on hovering the width changes to 100%. So first we'll change that thing. Okay, we'll give the initial width as 0, and then upon hovering we'll change it to 100%. Okay, here you can see, okay, our like left and bottom and top is 0, bottom right and top, left, bottom and right is here 0. Okay, but here we have given our height as 0, so we have to give a 100% height by default. Here 100% height is there. Okay, only width is changing. Okay, so we have given the width as 100% when we are hovering onto that image. Okay, now we'll refresh it. Now see, okay, now it is coming from left direction. In the same way we can also do this overlay. Okay, suppose Here we have taken, like, here we'll give our width is 100%. Okay, here you can see the overlay is moving from right to left, means at by default the left covers 100% of the area. Okay, when we remove this, see, the left has no overlay. Okay, so when we hover onto this element or image, the left area has 0% overlay, and when we hover onto this, it has 100% of the area. Okay, and it also, like, we have increased the width also, width to 100%. Okay, in the previous case we have given the width. Okay, we have to only change the left position. By default see, here by default it is 100%. Okay, when we hover onto this, it will, the left position will change to, the left position has 0 overlay. Okay, so now it will reduce to 0. So here we'll give left as 0. Now we will refresh it. See, now here you can see one thing I've given. Yes, it is right. Okay, it is moving from right to left. At initial position, the left position has 0 overlay, but on overlaying, on hovering, the overlay comes to 100%. Okay, so there are various types, like, through which we can style our images. Okay, we have discussed here. We can also filter it or align it to center. Okay, so there are various ways, like we can also make round image. Okay, we can also overlay the image, put an overlay onto the image. Okay, so I think for this class the content should be enough. Okay, so I will continue further in the next lecture. Okay.